Hello, I'm here to make you come and watch me restore this 1970 something or other Mini 1275 GT, which is no longer a Mini 1275 GT. It is an amalgamation, a mongrel, if you like, of several different things, which I'm going to talk you through, give you a smallest introduction I possibly can, because I'm a big fan of context, and I think if I just went ahead and started doing more videos on this, you might be like, where did it come from? What even is it? Why are you talking like that? So I'm going to give you some pictures, which I know you don't like, but I'm going to do it anyway, and yeah, some words, and then you'll know all about it and why it's here, and then we'll start doing some jobs on it. For clarity, it's a little bit dirty at the moment because I've had this thing for almost a year and I have done a shed load of work to it. And it's this car that I've pretty much got to thank for the channel. And the reason is that it's fair to say I lost a bit of motivation with this car, and having this YouTube channel has given me all the motivation I need to get stuck back in and get this thing finished. So here's the history. I got this car back in November of last year, so around about exactly a year ago. From 3 meters away, it was a pretty good looking car. Up close though, it was showing some serious neglect, and it was a full restoration project. Rust holes everywhere, interior was wrecked. It was bad. The headlining was like, it looked like you know, something had exploded in there, or someone had like an egg fight. And yeah, it was rough. So I got it and I thought, I'm going to do my first full, in-depth, detailed restoration. And I've restored tons of cars, but I've never painted a full car. I've never done a sort of ground up restoration, and yeah, this one you can pretty much guarantee that almost every nut and bolt on this car I've touched, and yeah, it's been a real interesting job, and at sometimes really challenging. The first day I got it, I spent the day cutting and polishing the paintwork on the car just to see how good it could look, and it looked good, but again, it was a 3 meter car. It didn't really make sense to just do the bare minimum on it, and even though it looks great here, it was let down by a lot of deep marks to the paint, surface rust, bubbling, everything. You know, you walked up close to the car and you thought, right, this is a knackered Mini. Lots and lots of repairs needed: roof gutters, rear C-pillars, floors, sills, a lot of rot on the car that needed to be properly cut out, you know, and replaced. So I thought, right, I need to think about what I'm going to do with this. Drove the car for a couple of days just to sort of see what it was like and what else it might need, and that really helped me in my decision to sort of do the restoration that I'm doing. So the car was originally black, and I had like a bit of sort of unfinished business with a colour called Diamond Black, which is a Volkswagen colour, which is a pearlescent black. And I thought to myself, look, I could just do the car flat black, or I could repaint the car in its entirety metallic pearlescent black, which I think would just bring it right up to date and fit in with the sort of slight Resto-MOD vibe I was going for. I had to do a lot of replacing of panels and certain parts that I'd have to make from scratch, such as the corners of the roof and things like that, and the C-pillars and bits of the guttering, and using different metal manipulating tools such as the shrinker stretcher and all this sort of stuff, which I didn't actually film any of because I didn't have a good camera and stuff, and I didn't know I'd be doing this channel, but I do now, so the rest of time I will be able to video these things. So once all the welding work was done, stripped the car down and sanded and prepped it all for paint. A new rear valance was put on the car, and lots and lots, lashings of rust inhibitor and paint weld using Buzzweld products, which I've heard a lot of good things about, really to make sure that the car just had a fighting chance at some serious longevity, because that's what I want. I want whoever owns this car in the future, whether it be me or whether I sell it on, for the next 20 years, it's going to be nice, I took the doors off, and they were a nightmare. They were full of rust and rot. So I took them with the bonnet, the boot lid and several other bits down to be sandblasted, and I got them all sandblasted down to bare metal because there was about 5 different layers of paint on these things. So it was, instead of just sanding them down, it was much easier to just get them blasted and primered. The doors, when I got these back, they were knackered. They were in a really bad way, so I ended up binning the doors off, and I went to a company called the Mini Door Company, who make remanufactured doors, and it's essentially some 70-year-old bloke in a shed in Lancashire, and it was the coolest day ever, just getting to spend a bit of time with him, chatting away and getting a couple of new doors for the Mini. So yeah, that saved me a ton of work, but it cost a fair bit of money, but it was just well worth doing. So the unique looking grille on the front is actually from a Vauxhall Victor, and it was a real sort of common modification to these Minis back in the sort of 80s and 70s. It's what a lot of people would refer to as a wooden picket style. Now, Wood and Pickett were a company based in London that sort of did modifications to things like Minis, Rolls Royces, that sort of stuff, just to sort of give them that unique look, similar to what a lot of modification companies do nowadays. And yeah, they're still going Wood and Pickett, and they're really, really good. I got a lot of parts for this car from Wood and Pickett, which is fantastic, like the arches and stuff were original Wood and Picketts and things, so it's really cool to see. But the grille is a Vauxhall Victor grille that's been shrunk down, and it needed a load of work when I got the car, so I had to do loads of masking, give it a good paint, put some chrome strips in the middle, put the metallic paint on it. Again, just all new headlights were put into it, loads of interesting stuff like that. But yeah, really, really cool bit of kit. Just really makes the car stand out from other sort of GT Minis or Clubman style Minis. Clubman style is just the front sort of shaved off, but it's a Mini 1275 GT. It's not a Mini Clubman. So yeah, all the windows out, masked everything up, 3 coats of proper etch primer, and yeah, real high quality stuff, only the best I could use, and yeah, it looked brilliant. All the work was seamless that I'd done, and I was super proud of it. Then a load of Volkswagen Diamond Black base coat, load of lacquer, and yeah, just absolutely stunning. Didn't have a booth to paint it in, but honestly, don't read too much into booths and things. They're great, they're handy if you've got them. It's not a necessity. You can work around them. It just means that you might have to sort of get your nib out and just sort of do little bits here and there of some fallout, but I didn't really have a lot of an issue with that. One of the reasons it didn't really matter too much to me not having a booth is that I wanted to take the lacquer in the car back to sort of glass, I wanted to get rid of any orange peel, less orange peel than you'd find on a brand new Range Rover. This is glass paintwork. It looks stunning in the flesh. And you know, when it's finished, I'm going to be again super proud of it. But you can see in these pictures here, in this little bit of video, how good the paintwork did turn out. Oh, my camera's upside down. What is it? So you see, while I was cutting and polishing the car, that it was in a different place. Now that was at the trimmers, Ben, who you've seen in one of the other videos. And yeah, he's an ex-Bentley trimmer. He's very, very clever, and he's very, very meticulous about what he does. So he's been over the car. He fitted the headliner for me, which looks absolutely stunning. But he didn't just stop there. We did the B pillars, the C pillars, and the A pillars, which were never trimmed from the factory, and they look insane. I can't wait to do like the full reveal of this car when the interior is completely finished and all the doors are on with the door cards and stuff, because it's going to look better than hopefully many other Minis out there, you know. Steering wheel, this is a faithful Mountney steering wheel, which is, you know, what a lot of these cars have. Mountney Classic, again, still going. Follow them on Instagram, great bunch of guys. And that steering wheel was retrimmed faithfully, and the Mountney logo stamped in the bottom by Ben. Again, just a stunning work. The car originally had red beading around the edges of the seats, and we don't really want anything red in the car because it's not a 90s Vauxhall. So that was all removed and replaced with black. And we also used a lot of gold sort of, seams on the car, gold stitching. And that's going to tie in with something that comes later, which I'll show you. And you might notice that the handbrake gaiter and the gear gaiter, they're white as well. That was because of something that we were testing, whether or not white would look good, because it matches the headliner and the A-pillars and stuff, which I'm still completely undecided about, but they're not finished. They were just quick little mock-ups just to see what would work. And the glove box lid is missing because that's out, still with Ben having some special things done to it, which again you will see at a later date. That's where I'm up to with the Mini so far, and yeah, there's still a load of work to do, but the hardest jobs are behind me. So I'm excited, guys. You know, I am excited to get this car finished, but I don't want to rush it, you know. I don't want to go crazy and make mistakes, because there's been a year's worth of work in this car so far, and that's a long time. But I absolutely love it. I think it's gorgeous, and I can't wait to drive it. And believe it or not, I do fit in it. I promise. So yeah, tons more work to do. I'm going to be doing videos on that work as time goes on. I've still got my big parts list there, which has got a lot of ticks next to it, which is good. There's not a lot else I need to buy for the car. It's more finishing things. One of the reasons that I've stopped on the car and started doing other stuff and got a bit bored and all this type of thing was one of the doors and the boot lid, the paint did not come out how I wanted it to. I could do better. To be perfectly honest with you, it's the same with the bonnet. I could do better on the bonnet, so I'm just going to think about what I want to do there. But yeah, that stopped me in my tracks. It annoyed me that I'd have to do these things again, but that's just the way it is. Anyway, they ended up getting sat over there in the corner, and that's a whole nother couple of videos, just repairing those and putting them back to metal and giving them another paint and stuff. But these things happen. This is the first car I've done a full respray on myself. So, you know, I've painted a lot of cars, but this is the first time everything has been painted, and it's challenging, you know, but pretty pleased with the results so far. So if you want to see more videos of this, and if you want to see it come to its conclusion, and I'm hoping I'm going to stick it potentially on something like collecting cars if I decide to sell it, and we'll see what sort of money this thing makes as well, which is going to be real interesting to see, because it is unlike any of the others. Haven't really discussed much about the engine as well, because I think I'll save that for another episode just to keep you tuned in, because it's something special. But yeah, if you do want to see more videos, give me a subscribe, give the thing a like, comment, tell me what you think of it. Do you like the look of it? You know, bearing in mind there's lots of other stuff that is going to go. You've got big plastic arches to go on it, you've got all sorts of other stuff to be done on it yet, so it's not finished. You're seeing it dirty midway through a restoration. But if you want to see it come to its conclusion, hit that subscribe button. That's really important to me, because that gives me that chutzpah to go into the next adventure, next video, which I'm actually going to film today and then put out in a couple of days' time, which is fitting the arches, but that's a different story altogether. Anyway, thanks very much for watching.